If you want to catch some big early summer bass, the ones that are recovering from post spawn, they're packing it on and they're out deep. Get yourself some big jigs, 5-inch spark shads, heavy line like 20-pound fluoro, extra heavy 7'11" rod. Find the deep structure that has cover like rocks and coontail on it. If there's gills hanging around, even better. Fire those casts out there and hang on. Those fish want to absolutely demolish this when it comes by. Oh, that one grabbed it and let it go. There. That one just crunched on it, missed it. Feels like a solid fish. They want to jump. Yeah. How was that to start the morning? With the third cast? Yes. Okay, again, you can see that hard bottom area, and there's scattered rock. We're just fan casting that. Oh, that one just like a sunfish tap, but it kept getting tighter. Oh, that's a good fish there. Oh my goodness. Oh. 2 fish within the first 5 minutes. Look at that. That's dangerous there. Look at how loose that was. That jig, there is nothing holding that. If he would have jumped hard, that fish would have been gone. Right now I'm just fan casting that gravel patch, and it's pretty wide. I mean, I got the screen on 70 foot and basically goes from one side to the other, and that's just what we see, the knob in front of us, and it gets a little bit bigger as we go up. So by sitting here in the same spot, we can really dissect that piece of cover without even moving. Okay, now we got some weed tufts up there. And the rocks and gravel go right up to it. It kind of splits and goes down each side of the weeds. Oh, that felt like I laid it right into the weeds. But it was a fish. Feels heavy. Oh man. Holy cow. Oh, that's a big one right there. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Are you kidding? Look at that. That's a beast. Look at the belly, it's starting to feed up. Oh man, that is a giant Minnesota largemouth. That big fish, there's some weed tufts right here, and that gravelly rock comes right up to it. And we were right over in this area on the left side of that weed tuft. So we're putting this cast in the exact same spot because that 360 is showing us that weed tuft. And I know the previous cast was on the left side of it. There are so many days we're making that exact same cast, puts more big fish in the boat. There's a reason why big fish are using certain areas. Oh man, that one just picked up and started running another way with it. feels like another solid fish. They want to come flying up to the top, so it's crucial to keep them down. Man. Nice quality fish out here. They're put on that feed. You can see their bellies. I mean, we're just a couple weeks from post spawn, and they are really changing. So we're gonna rig up. I'm just gonna kind of go through quick what we're using today. This 3/4 ounce Uoze jig from Megabass. And I love to trail it with a 5-inch spark shad. I used to always use just the regular pork trailers or the plastic chunks. Since I switched to these big swim baits on the back of these jigs, that big profile, little fish still hammer it, but you get a lot of big fish in the boat. There's a good look at that jig. What I like too is that long shank sticks back further and gets that hook to the back of that swim bait, making a better chance to get that fish hooked. Light weed guard, realistic head and eyes, underspin on the bottom, and a really good keeper system that's got some strands of thick floral or mono. I'm not sure what it is, but it's thick and it's wrapped right to the shank. I'm using some camouflage fluorocarbon. I believe it's 18 pound. It's 18 or 20. I mixed between the two and honestly haven't seen a difference for my use. Tying a San Diego jam knot. And then the one thing I always do with my spark shads is I trim a little bit off the head. One, to shorten it up just a little more. It gets that hook even further back. Now that keeper system is going to hold that plastic on really good, but I still like to use a dab of super glue because that's really going to hold it on there, and that's what I want. And then to top it off, some scent. Again, not only to make the fish want to hold on to it, but it helps cover up my scent. Anytime there's a couple positives and no negatives, to me that's a no-brainer to do it. You're right along the left side of that weed tuft. The closer you can get to it without digging right in, the better. Those fish are running or holding right on that edge. Your bait's coming right down there. They're gonna pop right out and grab it. There, I want to grab it. Oh, dang, that was just rock solid. Oh, that's the jump. Just pure quality fish out here this morning. Heavy jigs, big baits. Gets good quality fish in the boat. Okay, one look again. That weed tuft is over to the right side, about the 2 o'clock position. Oh, that long rod saved me on that hook set. Oh, big fish. Holy smokes. I set the hook on it and absolutely whiffed until I got to the very end of the hook set. And that 7-Eleven rod absolutely saved me, because any shorter, there wasn't enough. Oh, it's a big fish. Oh, look at that one. Another big early summer bass. Oh, big mouthful of jig right there. Okay, what'd that one come off of? Here you can see the weed line, gravel, and then the edge where it drops into that softer bottom out here. And I'm just fan casting this little strip here, and that fish was right on it. "23 feet deep." Oh, look at that. Brand new spot, super deep. It's got some rocks, and it's got big bass. Oh man, our offshore bite is ready to explode. We are on an insane deep water bite here. I got the boat sitting at 23 feet. It's early summer. Post-spawn fish are starting to group up. And our lakes, I just don't catch fish that deep. But there's a little bit of hard bottom and rocks scattered out here. There's some gills swimming around. And those big fish are engulfing this jig and spark shad and just throttling it. Oh, one grabbed it. She's coming up. Oh, it's another solid fish. Oh man, look at that. Look at that. The big jig and spark shad bite is on fire. Look. Let's do a quick recap of this amazing day on the water. We've only been out for about 4 hours. When you get on a pattern and figure them out, you can do work real quick. And a lot of that credit goes to the 360 again, because every single cast is on that cover that's on the structure. And it's basically spot on the spot all day. And that's huge. Efficiency is huge. If you can only get out for 4 hours, 8 hours once a week, efficiency is worth a ton. And by putting your bait on the sweet spot all day, odds are absolutely in your favor. Now you still got to figure out the pattern, what the fish are holding on. But once you do, you can fire every single cast right on there. If you're not real familiar with fishing heavy jigs on heavy equipment, I'm using that 7'11" extra heavy rod, and I'm doing that because I'm using fluorocarbon, and there's a little bit of stretch in that line. And when you have really long casts out and that big fish grabs it and you set the hook, that extra length helps you catch up to that fish and get the hook into it. There was one earlier today where I set the hook and I was no pressure on the fish all the way to the very end. And then that hook or that rod had just enough to get it to the fish. That's huge in hooking big giant fish. And then the other benefit of that big heavy rod is when you hook these fish on that jig out in deep water, their first reaction is to go 150 miles an hour to the top trying to get to the moon. So you need to stick that rod down in the water and just put pressure on them so they don't jump. You want big early summer offshore bass, get some big jigs, some 5-inch spark shads, heavy line, extra heavy rod, good electronics. Get out there and find the cover on the structure like rocks, coontail, the bluegills. Throw those big heavy jigs and big baits down in there and hang on.